Hello. Let's start by taking a couple of gentle breaths together today. Sometimes counting our breath is a good pattern interrupt. You don't like the narrative running in your brain, interrupt it. Maybe to the count of 4 on the inhale, on the count of 6 on the exhale. Consciously blow any stale air out of your lungs that you want to. Mine are still recovering. If you've been following along this year, 2026, on New Year's Eve, I did a video into the wee hours of the morning, January 1st, 2026, and talked about finding a word that represents the energy of the year for you, or I don't know, it's a message, or I don't know how to describe what that word represents exactly, so you have to trust your own inner wisdom, and mine is being, capital B, capital E, I-N-G. If you know me and you've seen my car around town, it says just be on the license plate. So obviously there's a meaning behind that word for me, being. What might that word be for you? You can go back and watch some previous videos if you want to hear what that's all about. And I've been watching some of the playback on the previous videos because it benefits me to hear it, to go back and watch. I have an unwritten rule, it's not set in stone, that I do not watch my videos before I post them because I would see all the flaws and never post them. But I go back sometimes and really gain some benefit from listening to what came through that day. And I found myself a little bit surprised that I had grabbed, I think I must have, January 1st, I wanted to start reading something that would spark me to life. I was recovering from an illness, and Anthony De Mello's Awareness jumped off the shelf at me. In fact, it came to mind first, and then it was the first book I laid my eyes on when I went to look at my bookshelf. But it's The Perils and Opportunities of Reality. And if you've been reading along with me, there's been some harsh, I'd like to find a different word, but maybe startling, unsettling, and that's okay. Unsettling things that Anthony's had to say to us in this book. And I found myself wondering, I'm not sure, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time looking for the page where he says most people don't want to wake up. Waking up is unpleasant, page 6. I think there's another place where he just says it's painful, so most people don't want to do it. And I thought, I know that I contradict myself on this channel. I know that as a human being, I'm full of contradictions. You may know some contradictions in your own life, in your own mind, and that's okay. Pretty normal for us human beings. And so as I was listening to this thing about waking up being painful, and so most people not wanting to do it, most people wanting to stay in the comfort of being asleep. You know the rule, take what you like, leave the rest. This is for you to figure out what resonates, what doesn't. But I thought, I just came home from another delicious Mayan retreat with my teacher, Don Miguel. And I have been sick since I got home. Well, I got home I got home December 16th, and I didn't get sick till Christmas Day. I got to bask in the glow for a while. You know, I meant for this to be a short video, and here we are 4 minutes in already. I guess I love talking to you first, and I don't know, setting the stage, something. I think I'm going to read a short section today, but we'll see. We'll see how the spirit moves, my words. So I wondered, I came back from that and I got to do some cleansing, literally deep in the mother's womb in a cave, Aktun. We did some cleansing rituals, and I thought, why am I drawn to a book about waking up being painful? And the thought that came to my mind was one of the cards I drew, and one of the things that Miguel taught us on this trip was the Mayan word CHUEN, CHUEN, CHUEN. If I guess if I get a Spanish pronunciation, that E, but it seems like he pronounces it CHUEN, CHUEN. And it means, it translates into transmuting or transforming without pain. Well, we could probably even substitute the word awakening without pain. So I kind of like that I'm bringing in this author and what you've heard from me in his readings so far, and then the word CHUEN. And so I'm going to make a mental note as soon as my lungs are get even more better. CHUEN, and I'm going to do the mantra. But actually, let's take a minute right now, and I'm going to put this into the description. If you're like me, it helps to see it. CHUEN, CHUEN. And as with any mantra or any teaching I offer, anything I read from another author, not my words, but his, but you get to see my reactions to it as we read together and discover at the same time. Practice this. Say it at least 3 times. I call it the Mayan Magic 7. I love doing things at least a minimum of 7 personally, or 11, 3, 7, or 11. And see how you feel afterwards. Do you feel any different? And if you don't, that's okay too. You know that's okay. You've heard enough from me that that's okay. But yeah, let's go back to that. Now, relax is a word I've thrown out there this new year. Miguel said, before we do or say anything, relax. And maybe let your face drop. I don't always like how my face looks on the video when I do that, but do it anyway. You're not behind a video like I am, so don't worry about it. I can't see you. Let the muscles in your face relax. Let your jaw drop. Let your body relax to the best of your ability. Does it mean something to you to hear the words drop in? Drop into your body. Just sink into your body. Or let your body sink that much deeper into the structure that's supporting you right now. And relax. And let's read on. So where I just left off was the section on wanting happiness. And then just, are we talking about psychology in this course or spirituality? And again, the rule on my channel is play with it. Play with all of this. And make it your own or dismiss it. Let it float on by like on a cloud. And I brought that up because the word spirituality, and maybe something in your vocabulary, it may be a word one of the most spiritual beings I know or experience as doesn't consider herself spiritual at all. So you may have a different word. So let's see if I go back just a paragraph. If you get, I want to lead into where we're headed. So he says, so there, top of page 15, if you're reading along. So there it is, step 1. Realize that you don't want to wake up. It's pretty difficult to wake up when you have been hypnotized into thinking that a scrap of old newspaper is a check for $1 million. How difficult it is to tear yourself away from that scrap of old newspaper. I'm going to pause. Even if you go back and listen to yesterday's recording of this. Context may help, or it may not. Maybe you don't need any context. What does he mean? It's difficult to tear yourself away from a scrap of old newspaper if you've been convinced it's $1 million, a check for $1 million. All right, so moving on. Neither is renunciation the solution. So obviously there was a nor, neither nor, either or. Neither is renunciation the solution. When I stopped yesterday, I thought, these two might need to go together, but that's not how we did it, so. Anytime you're practicing renunciation, you're deluded. He does not mince words, does he? His style, golly, If you've watched any of my videos over since 2019, you'll see, even when I'm coming on because I'm depressed and I'm wanting to share a tool with you to show you how I raised my vibration that day and pulled myself out of the depths of despair, I usually have a smile on my face because I love connecting with you all. I love you. I love you. I love you. Has anyone told you that today? You'll hear me say it in every video. And so I have this, I teach reparenting with gentleness, humor, love, and respect. So this just feels like this swing toward, again, I'm not even sure why I'm drawn to this year, but I'm going to hang in there. Hope you do too. Anytime you're practicing renunciation, you're deluded. I just had this image of somebody at Church of Unity early days when I first went there, and I said something and they went like they were crossing it out, negating it, renouncing it. Didn't feel so good, but anyway, just a mental image. How about that? You're deluded. What are you renouncing? Anytime you renounce something, you are tied forever to the thing you renounce. I think I love him as an author because he really makes me think. Now, I've read through this at least once, maybe twice. And so the first time I read it, a lot of this was disturbing, unsettling, which I kind of liked. You may understand what I mean, and you may not. So it's less unsettling this time around, and I'm glad to be getting back to it. There's a guru in India who says, every time a prostitute comes to me, she's talking about nothing but God. She says, I'm sick of this life that I'm living. I want God. But every time a priest comes to me, he's talking about nothing but sex. Very well. When you renounce something, you're stuck to it forever. When you fight something, you're tied to it forever. I've heard once, I guess in the same way as fighting, when you're fighting against something, which I guess is the word renouncing, when you hate something, I hate that word. You're giving energy to it, even in your fight. You can't not give energy to something you're fighting against. Think about that. As long as you're fighting it, you're giving it power. Didn't mean to tell you what he was going to say next. What I just said, isn't it? You give it as much power as you are using to fight it. Tranquille. I think yesterday I was telling you about Miguel giving me that word tranquille. I was disturbed about my leftovers and wanted to take them out to the kids on the street or the animals that I thought looked to be the dogs that looked to be starving. And normally he would help me walk them out, so he must have thought I needed a new, he is my teacher, my Mayan elder teacher. He must have thought I needed a new lesson this time, and he said, tranquille is usually best. Tranquille. Along with this message, relax before you say or do anything. I know that I repeat myself a lot in these videos. I was concerned about that when I watched some old videos before the start of this new year, and I realized, as do my teachers, we human beings need to hear things over and over and over before that new neural pathway is truly formed and our brains begin to do it automatically for ourselves. Relax. You give it as much power as you are using to fight it. This includes communism and everything else. So you must receive your demons, because when you fight them, you empower them. I can imagine some people arguing against that. What do you mean, receive my demons? Now, if you're doing any reparenting work with me, You won't be surprised to hear that. It's even when my clients say, oh, I just need to let this go. I just need to cut this out of my life. I need to let this go. And I say, what happens when you create space within you to accept what's showing up and you embrace yourself with gentleness, softness, tenderness? What happens then instead of fighting to let something go? Try it out if you haven't. I think that's what he's saying. I don't mean to necessarily interpret this for you all. It's interesting why I'm doing that. I guess because I'm choosing to read this in the moment with you and have my natural reactions to it while I'm reading, so I'm giving you my reactions. Has nobody ever told you this? When you renounce something, you're tied to it. The only way to get out of this is to see through it. Don't renounce it, see through it. I would say make space for it, warm it up, embrace it, see through it, Understand its true value, and you won't need to renounce it. It will just drop from your hands. But of course, if you don't see that, if you're hypnotized into thinking that you won't be happy without this, that, or the other thing, you're stuck. What we need to do for you is not what so-called spirituality attempts to do, namely, to get you to make sacrifices, to renounce things. That's useless. You're still asleep. What we need to do is to help you understand. If you understood, you'd simply drop the desire for it. This is another way of saying, if you woke up, you'd simply drop the desire for it. I think there's many different ways to say this. I teach mindfulness. You'll find some old videos, and I know on my previous channel, Laura Lynn, on mindfulness and meditation and mantras, for sure. And in mindfulness, we're not trying to fix or change anything. Just the act of noticing something, making ourselves aware of something already changes our nature to it. Subject, object, there's some distance from it. That's one way of saying this, waking up, becoming more aware. When I say embrace, loving yourself, sometimes in mindfulness, I guide my clients to notice. I've done shadow work as well as the reparenting tool, the loving, becoming your own loving parent, inner parent. And one thing we talk about with shadow work is noticing cues, physical sensations, repetitive thoughts, intractable feelings, those feelings that come and camp out and you're not really sure why. And those are just clues or cues, but clues to, if you let your attention follow those clues, those cues, they lead you to an unmet need. Same word as understanding. They help you understand what you need. And if you get there to that need and you soften and you lovingly embrace yourself and meet your own need, you've awakened. And what did he say? And you won't have any desire for it? Is that how he says it? Yep. You'd simply drop the desire for it. I love you. I love you. I love you. Until we meet again, relax and just be. Whatever's showing up, make space for whatever is showing up in this human experience with gentleness, softness, tenderness. I love you.